Vienna, April 3, 1938. 60,000 people are watching a football match that is not supposed to matter. Austria against Germany, except Austria no longer exists. 3 weeks ago, it was annexed, erased, renamed. This match is the farewell, a choreographed goodbye. Everyone on the pitch understands how it is meant to end. And then, in the 70th minute, the most famous athlete in the country scores and dances. Right there, in front of the men who erased his homeland. His name is Matthias Sindelar. They call him the Mozart of football. Within a year, he will be found dead, and the file will be closed so fast that Vienna is still asking questions 90 years later. He is born Matej Sindelar, a Czech immigrant's son in Moravia, raised in Favoriten, Vienna's working-class brick district. His father, a bricklayer, is killed in the First World War. The boy grows up fatherless, kicking rag balls between tenements, and comes out of it slight, pale, almost breakable. When he reaches the professional game, they named him for it, Der Papierene, the paper ban. Defenders bounce off nothing. He is never where they arrive. Vienna in the 20s treats football the way it treats music, as an argument worth having in a coffee house at midnight. And in that city of critics, Sindelar is not called a player. He is called an artist, the Mozart of football. Under coach Hugo Meisel, Austria builds the side the whole continent comes to see, the Wunderteam. In the early 1930s, it dismantles Europe. Scotland taken apart 5-0, Germany beaten 6-0 and 5-0 in the space of months. Playing a short-passing, thinking game decades ahead of its time, with Sindelar as its brain. In 1932, they walk into London to face England, the inventors of the game, unbeaten at home against continental sides, and lose 4-3 in a match so magnificent, the English press spends the week praising the losers. It never wins the World Cup. In 1934, it falls in a brutal semifinal in fascist Italy that Austrians dispute to this day. In 1937, Meisel's heart gives out. But by 1938, an aging Sindelar has one more tournament in him. Austria has qualified for the World Cup in France. The paperman will get his last dance on the world stage. He never plays it. March 12, 1938. German troops cross the border. There is no war. There is an absorption. Austria is renamed, redrawn, and removed from the map. Within weeks, its institutions are dissolved into the Reichs. The consequences move with bureaucratic speed. Austria is withdrawn from the World Cup it qualified for. Its best players are to be absorbed into Germany's squad for France. The Wunderteam, harvested. Sindelar's own club, Austria Vienna, the coffeehouse club with deep Jewish roots, is purged. Its Jewish president and officials are thrown out under the new race laws. Men who built the golden era are suddenly unemployable, unpersoned, or packing. And then the new authorities order one last performance. A showpiece in Vienna's great Praterstadion, the former Austria against Germany. The posters call it a reconciliation match. Every account agrees on what the occasion demands. A festival of unity, a gracious result. Nothing that embarrasses the Reich. The old team plays one final time, waves, and ceases to exist. Sindelar is 35. He has one match left in an Austrian shirt, and by several accounts, he insists on exactly that the team walk out not in some neutral kit, but in red, white, red, the colors of a country that officially no longer exists. 60,000 people, the officials' tribune full of the new order, and a match with a script nobody wrote down, but everybody knows. What follows in the first half becomes Viennese legend. Witnesses describe Sindelar missing, and missing in a way that no one who has ever seen him believes. Shots inches wide, chances opened and then declined, right in front of the tribune. The accounts read less like a player off his game and more like a message delivered slowly, so the whole stadium can follow it. Watch how easily I could, and watch me refuse. Then the second half, minute 70. A rebound falls in the box, and the paper man does the thing he has spent an afternoon theatrically not doing. Goal. Minutes later, his friend Carl Sesta, a former blacksmith with a boxer's shoulders, makes it 2-0 with an impudent long-range strike. The script is dead on the grass, and then the moment that outlives everyone in the stadium. Sindelar turns, runs toward the tribune of dignitaries, and dances. A jig of joy, performed at the men who erased his country, in the colors of that country, in front of 60,000 witnesses. It is remembered as one sentence, spoken with his feet, in the only language they couldn't censor yet. The Wunderteam is dissolved. Its stars are folded into Germany's World Cup squad. Sindelar is expected to, the crown jewel. He refuses. Not once, every time. He offers age, an old knee, whatever the day requires, always politely, always final. The German coach keeps asking. The answer never changes. That summer, a merged Greater Germany, built to dominate the 1938 World Cup, crashes out in the very first round to Switzerland. The Empire took the team, and the team took its revenge by simply not being the Wunderteam. Sindelar's last year is quieter and more complicated than the legend. He buys a cafe in his home district of Favoriten, and the purchase itself carries the stain of the era. The previous owner was Jewish, forced to sell under the new race laws. The record suggests Sindelar paid the assessed price rather than the plunder rates others exploited, but it is still a transaction that could only exist because a man was being dispossessed. History owes him honesty as well as admiration, and this episode gives him both. What is also recorded, he kept greeting the purged Jewish men of his old club in public, when looking away had become the safer national sport. In the new Vienna, the regime's watchers filed him where they filed the unreliable. January 23, 1939, 295 days after the dance. Sindelar, 35 years old, is found dead in his apartment beside Camilla Castagnola, the woman he had been seeing. She dies the next day without waking. The official cause? Carbon monoxide. A defective flue, a blocked chimney, an accident of Viennese winter plumbing. Maybe it was exactly that. The record allows it. But the record is also strangely thin. The investigation is shut within days. Files go missing in the decades that follow, and Vienna, then and now, has never stopped weighing the other possibilities out loud. Despair, in a city he no longer recognized, or something delivered, to a man who had danced at the wrong tribune and said no too many times. This film asserts none of them. It only notes who benefited from the silence, and how quickly the silence came. What Vienna could not say in words, it said with its feet, the way he had. Tens of thousands came to bury him. A crowd so vast it functioned, witnesses said, as the first mass gathering of the occupied city that the regime could not script. A poet later wrote that the paperman simply could not survive his country, that the flaw was not in the chimney, but in the times. For decades afterward, on the anniversary, people still climb to his grave at the Zentralfriedhof. Some still do. He never lifted a World Cup. He never wore the shirt they demanded. His entire monument is 90 minutes, one goal, and a dance, the last free performance of a country that had already ceased to exist.